This morning on WJCL 22 Morning News at 6, the clock is now ticking on Alec Murdaugh's retrial. A judge has set a new trial date, but a heated courtroom battle is already underway over where that case is going to be heard. What's next in the courtroom saga this morning? And rebuilding after devastating wildfires in Georgia, the worst in the state's history. How victims can apply for financial assistance. Plus, WJCL 22 Morning News at 6. It starts right now, and thanks so much for starting off your Tuesday morning right here, bright and early with us here at WJCL. Good morning. I'm Lydia Blackstone. Meteorologist Jonathan Myers joining us now. And John, hot day yesterday, but it looks to be a little bit cooler today.
We'll call it cooler, Lydia. Yeah. Low 90s, right?
We'll take what we can get, right?
Yeah, exactly. This is where we should be for this time of the year. Starting out, it is a muggy one this morning. Savannah into the mid and upper 70s. And then we'll see our temperatures begin to rise. Sun will be coming up here very shortly at 6:21, 80 degrees by 8 o'clock, and we'll see mostly sunny first thing this morning. And then later today, we may see a shower or thunderstorm, but the coverage of rain today does look to be lower than what we had yesterday. Of course, the weekend is the 4th of July, and it'll be hot and humid there on Saturday. Also for Sunday, temperatures into the mid 90s, and also tracking an area off the southeast coast that has a low chance for tropical development. But no issues this morning out the door for work, seeing dry conditions as we are kicking off today. So those temperatures this afternoon, 93 for Hampton, Ridgeland, and also for Statesboro, 92 Savannah, and we'll see mid 90s for Blackshear. And there's that small chance for maybe a thunderstorm later today. I'll track that out for you in Futurecast, and also looking ahead to that holiday weekend coming up in less than 10 minutes.
We now know when the retrial for Alec Murdaugh is scheduled to begin in South Carolina. That disbarred Lowcountry attorney was convicted of killing his wife and son back in March of 2023. But that conviction recently overturned by the state Supreme Court. He was granted a retrial after the Colleton County Clerk of Court was accused of jury tampering. The new trial has been scheduled to begin on April 5th of next year. Monday was a procedural hearing with questions surrounding how much evidence is available now and what timeline experts would need to be prepared. One thing the defense and state disagreed on was whether Murdaugh should be in a jumpsuit and chains during those pretrial hearings.
Jurors, potential jurors are watching this right now. It's going to be, wherever this goes, it's going to be difficult to get a jury. And to the extent that parading him around in a jumpsuit shackled like an animal impacts their views.
It's not the state's fault. He's an inmate serving a 27-year sentence, okay? This is, again, SCDC's policy.
There was also a motion for a change of venue to move the trial out of Colleton County. The judge said that that'll be discussed in the next pretrial hearing on August 14th. Right now, just south of us, people are still recovering from the worst wildfires in Georgia's history. Tens of thousands of acres burned across Brantley, Clinch, and Eccles counties starting in late April. The Small Business Administration says they've been on the ground helping victims apply for assistance. That includes businesses in the surrounding counties financially impacted by those fires.
So let's say, for instance, a Moms and Pops restaurant that is in Glenn County or Camden County, adjacent to Brantley. They had no physical damage, but in 6 to 10 months from now on, they will see on their books that actually they have a lot of loss.
The SBA says victims can apply online. Economic injury loans are due by March of next year. Loans for any physical damage are due by July 27th. Earlier this month, Governor Brian Kemp also issued a new state of emergency to help 17 counties with those recovery efforts. New this morning, we're learning traffic stops in Chatham County. They're tied to a new wave of deportations in Georgia. The U.S. Attorney's Office in the Southern District of Georgia says 4 men were identified during those stops. Between January and April, they were charged with illegal re-entry after removal or deportation. Officials say that those men were sentenced to time served before being turned over to ICE for immediate deportation. The cases were investigated by Homeland Security Investigations and local law enforcement, including the Chatham County Sheriff's Office. Now to the Supreme Court weighing in on several cases from mail-in ballots to the limits of presidential power. We're taking a closer look at the major rulings, but first we want to hear from you. You can vote right now in our live interactive poll, and some people are already voting. All you got to do, scan that QR code at the top of your screen, or you can visit WJCL.com/vote. Let us know which Supreme Court ruling issue do you think had the biggest impact on Americans. Your options are birthright citizenship, transgender athletes, voting rights, or presidential power. The Supreme Court has two highly anticipated rulings to make today, one on birthright citizenship, another on transgender athletes. ABC's Karen Hua joins us from Washington with the very latest.
At the Supreme Court today, the biggest rulings of the year. First, whether President Trump can ban birthright citizenship by executive order, something he's been trying to do since his first day back in office.
Birthright. That's a big one.
Under Trump's order, children would not automatically be citizens if they are born to undocumented parents or parents in the U.S. temporarily.
I think it's very bad for our nation.
Even some of the conservative justices seemed skeptical during oral arguments in the spring.
How are we going to determine domicile? And do we have to do this for every single person?
Also today, the court will rule on whether states can ban transgender girls from playing on girls' sports teams. Currently, the Olympic Committee, the NCAA, and 29 states don't allow transgender women on women's teams. These two expected rulings coming after the Supreme Court tackled a host of other hot-button issues yesterday. First, a blow to Trump's push to restrict voting by mail. The justices ruled that ballots postmarked by Election Day can still be counted, even if they arrive up to 5 days later. Karen Hua, ABC News, Washington.
Georgia Senator Raphael Warnock and his Senate Democrat colleagues, they condemned unlawful restrictions to mail-in voting access and say that rule could create a national absentee voter database with barcodes connected to the voters' names. South Carolina Attorney General Alan Wilson, also the GOP nominee for governor, released a statement saying Monday's decision was disappointing as the court undermined confidence in the elections. Now we want to take a look at those polls a little bit closer that we're showing you today. We're asking you, which Supreme Court ruling or issue do you think has had the biggest impact on Americans? Right now, we're seeing presidential power at 50%, birthright citizenship closely behind at 30%. You still have time to cast your vote, and we'll continue to track your votes throughout the morning. Happening today, families in Liberty County will have 2 new places for their kids to play. County leaders are cutting the ribbon on brand new playgrounds, both paid for SPLOST funding. WJCL 22 News' Madeline Cooper is live at the Briar Bay Park with a look at the new playground. And now that the sun's up, you're getting kind of a better look at all there is out there, Madeline.
Yeah, Lydia. Well, the kids have 2 new playgrounds here in Liberty County to enjoy. And that's right. We want to pan you over to be able to show you the playground here at Briar Bay Park. You see, we've got all the slides, the climbing structures, and the tunnels. But all of this is being funded by SPLOST, which is a 1% sales tax that voters approved to make sure that they could improve the community through projects just like this one. Let's throw this up on your screen. This is what you need to know about the ribbon cutting starting this morning at 9 a.m. And of course, we will be here for the ribbon cutting. We'll bring you a look in our later show, so stay with us. Back to you, Lydia.
This isn't the only playground that's being celebrated today. Of course, you're here. Tell us about the other one.
Yeah, Lydia, not 1, but 2 ribbon cuttings happening later this morning after the ceremony here at Briar Bay Park. If you want to head out and see it, you could head over to Jesse Stevens Park for a ribbon cutting happening at 10 a.m. Back to you.